Welcome back, friends. Theora and I have a super cool guest today. Let's welcome Olivia Lucas, who plays Thelma Bearkiller in season 3 of Motherland for Salem. Thanks for hanging out with us today and answering some questions.
My pleasure.
Uh, so we absolutely love Thelma. We talk about her all the time on our podcast.
We do.
We do.
Really?
We're not flattering it. We're being serious.
No,
I
watch
gotta
the
catch
last
up.
5 episodes.
Legitimately. Just she's such an awesome addition to just everything in Motherland. And had such a big role, honestly, in season 3. It's bigger than I was expecting from a new character to come in in the last season. So we're curious, when you were first cast as Thelma, how much did you know about her, her background or what her character arc was going to be?
I guess I should have had the breakdown that I was given ready for you guys. I could just read that off. I could probably find it on my phone, but basically, I knew that she was the youngest member of the council. She's kind of bringing back the old ways. So she's more traditional than even the generation ahead of her. And so I thought that was very interesting. I kind of resonate with that a little bit because I was raised by boomers. And so sometimes I feel like an outsider in my own generation. I'm 28, by the way. So to give you some context. And I don't really know if I think they just said mid 20s or early mid to mid 20s or something like that for the character. She was Afro-Indigenous, written Afro-Indigenous. And so they were seeking out someone who was Afro-Indigenous. And Brian said, when Sherry, she was one of the writers in the writer's room. She is the one who came up with all the characters on the council. She felt it was really important to the story, but also it was personally important to her that they have an Afro-Indigenous character, a member of the council, and they thought it'd be fitting it would be Thelma because her children are Afro-Indigenous, and so I just that meant so much to me to see a character who just literally was I just saw so much of myself in, and so so I knew that, and that she was also very protective, very loyal. Very serious, doesn't play around, doesn't mess around, even more so than the Marshal, as you saw, collaring the heroes. Whereas he's like, roam free, you're not going to get far if you try to leave, kind of thing, but yeah, so that's kind of what I knew going into the audition. And then once I booked it, and I found out within 3 days, it was really fast. And they didn't even come in for a call back. They're just like, it's yours. It was insane. I was I was over the moon. It still doesn't feel real. It's insane. It still is just such a dream come true. So once we were doing our test and our wardrobe and hair and makeup and stuff, then I got to ask Brian more questions and stuff like that about the character. And that's when he told me about Sherry being the one who wanted her character to be Afro-Indigenous and whatnot. But yeah, I didn't know a lot. Basically that she was a lot like me.
It was meant to be.
It
really is. You're either the part is for you or it's not. And they said when they saw my tape that it was just there she is. She's the one. And so, yeah, to hear that, I'm like, ooh, tears.
Yeah, that's so great.
Yeah.
Yeah, we talked to some Amber and Danielle from casting about some of that stuff, and it was really cool hearing their perspective on when they see an actor who just nails it and fits a character. So there you go.
Yeah, sometimes it's I'm reading a book. I'm reading Meisner's book right now, Stanford Meisner, and he talks about you either have we have limitations as artists, as actors. You have a temperament in you that is you and unique and yours alone, and no one else has. And so, you might put one actor in a role and they are just not right for it at all. It just they don't have they just don't have the it that it needs. But you give them a different role that's just like them, that's them. They No one can take that away from them. So I think a lot of times we take things personal in this industry. What's wrong with me? Or how come I wasn't good enough? And it's like, no, like 99% of the time that's not the case. So yeah.
It'd be easy to do. So, all right. So when Thelma makes her entrance with the rest of the council, she gives the fugitives a good once over and proceeds into the hotel. What is she thinking in that moment?
So at this time, you know, the council kind of knows that has some information about what happened on their land with the plant being blown up, and they know that these hoodlums have some kind of involvement. I'm definitely not as like I'm a lot more skeptical and hesitant than the rest of the council members. But so when I come in, or rather when Thelma comes in, basically she knows Abigail is the kind of like leader of the group there and kind of headlining a lot of stuff, and she knows who the Bellwethers are. She's very familiar with their family, and I think just two alphas, you know, they don't necessarily, there's a clash there, and so I kind of already made up my mind. She already makes up her mind. Yeah, they're going through the protocols and through the motions, but she kind of just like, oh, I see you, kind of thing, right? So she definitely had. She was being sus. She was being sus with Abigail for sure. And she wasn't afraid to show it either. So.
Oh, definitely not. Like immediately there's just friction between the two of them, and I love that you compare them as just like two alphas, 'cause, like that will just clash. But like Thelma seems to really enjoy challenging Abigail, and it's fun to watch.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I
It's
almost
very
kind of
fun to
wish.
watch.
Yeah, I almost kind of wish that friction stayed around a little longer. The softening happened pretty quick. Oh, is that
I
the next
know.
question? Oh, but yeah.
We do too because it was fun.
It was fun.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody challenges Abigail, so it's always fun when there's somebody else who's like just as powerful and knows it and is like, I can push your buttons and get away with it. So we enjoy to
Totally,
see that
totally.
because it never happens. So thank you.
The only
Yeah.
other person that has come close is Scylla, and even she, had to kind of like
Mm-hmm.
rein it in because, she can't be fighting with Rael's sister. So
Yeah, bestie all the time, right? Trying to keep
yeah,
the peace. There was
exactly.
there was a character in season one. I'm sorry, her name escapes me. She was the
Oh, I
one
know
who,
who you're talking about.
yeah. So that kind of challenger, right? The
Mm-hmm.
other family that, the ancestor that fought with that other ancestor of the
The
Bellwethers.
Swipe.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So there was that kind of mirroring happening a little bit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
we
same
have a
patterns
whole.
come around, right? The same patterns will
Yeah.
come around until
Yeah.
you learn your lesson, Abigail.
It
We
all
have
comes
an
back to the
entire
ancestors fighting.
we have an entire headcanon about Libba and Abigail.
Liva, that's what it was.
So
Yeah.
I love it. I love
Yeah,
it.
that's a fun
Um,
comparison, though. I like
it
that.
really
Mm-hmm.
is. So, which of the fugitives or any character on Motherland do you think Thelma would get along with the most?
Get along with the most. I don't know. I feel like the first person that came to mind was Rael. Um,
Really?
yeah, but at the same time, I mean, like in the script, it's already that she sees a lot of the same values that she has in Abigail, and so there's this camaraderie already between them. But I think, maybe that's kind of the extent of that relationship, like, or the extent of that
Mm-hmm.
bond, Whereas I feel, and I wish, I mean, there wasn't a whole lot of time, unfortunately, because we lost Taylor for a while, but the interactions, I don't know, I just think that the going against the grain, not necessarily always following orders, although, there is a respect for order that Raelle and Thelma have, that Thelma went and built an entire army behind everyone's backs.
Love that move, by the way. By the way, here's my army.
Exactly.
Raelle doing that too. Don't be mad.
Yeah. Oh, and I knew that coming in as well. I forgot about that.
Oh, you did?
So I did know that coming in
Nice.
into the audition. But yeah, so she I think I could see Raelle and Thelma really hitting it off as someone she could probably disarm with. Someone she could be vulnerable with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could see them hanging out and like drinking.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Just having a drink,
like a bonfire or something,
shooting the shit.
Yeah, the bonfire, exactly.
Yeah.
That's definitely Raelle.
I can see it. Definitely Raelle.
Definitely.
Yep.
Oh man.
Yeah, and also Raelle grew up on the session as well, in the session. So there's that shared, cultural understanding and things. I don't have to explain things. I know that there are times when, just in my life, when I don't have to explain things from my lived experience to people who are not of my ancestry is refreshing, and it makes it easy. Totally. So yeah, I would say Raelle.
Excellent choice.
That's a great answer. I wish we had those scenes. Oh well.
Right?
There's always fan fiction.
There's always. So you touched on this a little bit when you talked about like feeling seen as Thelma when you first got the role, or like read for the role. So we talk a lot about this on Motherland. One of the aspects we really love about the show is the representation that's very consciously thought out by the creators when they made the show. And so in season 3, we were really happy that we finally got a glimpse of like the session, which is just like this beautiful, cultural, diverse place, and like actually got to see people in it. And so, and a big part of that is like the Great River Council. And so we were wondering, like, what was it like to portray a character like there's very central in like that kind of community from the session?
Oh gosh. I felt honored. To represent so much of, my culture and my community. Because as much as we have like all of our own tribes and languages, and there's hundreds, there's still this like shared experience and understanding when you are Indigenous. And so to play a character with so much power and autonomy and agency, and I felt a great responsibility. I felt not pressure per se, like, oh, what if I mess up, or what if I think because I've been preparing for this, and so when the opportunity came, I knew I was ready, and I felt the weight of the responsibility, but I felt strong enough to carry it. So yeah, it's kind of just like timing was divine, and it was all like meant to be. Yeah. I hope that answers your question.
Definitely.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we say that a lot about this show, that it was the right people at the right time with the right story. So.
Even when it doesn't feel like it sometimes, right? Like we were thrown so many curveballs, so many, and then we've adjusted every time, and then something happens where it forces us to be creative, and something sweeter comes out of it. And so it's just like trusting the process and trusting that we are being guided in a direction that is maybe even more powerful or more impactful.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So you have a few posts on social media talking about your Indigenous ancestry. We were wondering if you would tell us more about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So my whole protocol introduction is I'm Afro and sorry, let's rewind. I went to go say Afro-Indigenous. I'm like, that's not the proper introduction. I'm Nova Scotian Black from Lucasville, Nova Scotia, Cree Métis from Moose Factory, Ontario, and my settler ancestry is Prussian, French Canadian, and Scottish, but like on the Métis side. And yeah, so that's kind of like the paraphrase version, if you can believe it. But so my father is also Afro-Indigenous. So his name is Lucas, and I have his name, and that's the Black name. That's my grandfather's name, and that was my great-grandmother's name. We don't know who my great-grandfather is, unfortunately, but so that name is actually matriarchal. So it comes from my great-grandmother. And eventually from her father, and then eventually from a slave owner. But that's what happened in slave times. Slaves took the names of the slave masters. But yeah, so that's the lineage. And then my dad's mother is Cree Métis, and she, like, I look like her. I look more like her than I do my own parents.
Aww.
Yeah, and the older I get, the more I see it. It's pretty awesome. So her father was German, Prussian, and her mother also Cree Métis. Unfortunately, that part of us was they assimilated into white culture to survive, but also because of migration, they had to leave Moose Factory eventually. It goes back to my ancestor, who was Thomas Turner, who is the Métis ancestor that we've traced our lineage back to. And I'm a member of the Métis Nation of Ontario, and have been for a couple of years. My sister has been longer, and it's quite the process to get your citizenship from the Métis Nation. But so Thomas Turner is our ancestor, and Janet Turner is his daughter, and she is my grandmother's great grandmother, and she remembers her. So it's pretty cool. And she jigged around the house and stuff, and a lot of the things that were passed down, we didn't know where it was our Métis roots, like the jarring that my grandmother did, and we would go berry picking, and just the very simple kind of way of life that we've had, and the way we live very preservatively. So that was my dad's side. And then my mother's side, she's her settler ancestry is French Canadian. I call my mère, her mother and father, ma mère and père, and my père is also French. And my père is French, and then my mère is, sorry, rewind. My père is German. Why can't I get this? I'm so sorry.
You got this.
The wine. I blame the wine.
Got it.
This is why I can't get into it.
It's the wine.
Okay. My mère is German, and my père is French, and but they both spoke French. So yeah. Anyway, so that's that. Sorry, it's a
no,
long
girl.
Story.
No.
That was
Thank you for sharing.
Thanks for sharing it.
Rewinds and all.
Fascinating. Ancestry in general is fascinating, but especially when you get to learn, other
totally.
people's.
It's difficult to try and like paraphrase or summarize sometimes, and I feel like I'm just rambling, but there's no other way for me to shorten it.
I don't think you should shorten it. I think it needs to be represented as it is. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you for holding space for it too, though.
It's our freaking pleasure. So.
Yeah.
That's part of why we're here and have any kind of platform that we do is to do things with it that are positive. So
I appreciate that.
Yeah. So back to like people in Motherland that are like know each other and stuff. So by the end of like the season, one of the moments I really love is when President Wade is like giving her big like I'm in charge, I'm changing everything kind of speech, and like Thelma's with her, and she grants essentially the Great River Council and people of the session like more autonomy. So we don't get to see a lot of Thelma in that chat, but how did Thelma feel like kind of like hearing that and like going forward with her position in the council, not getting like more autonomy and stuff?
Yeah, it's great you asked that, because I tried to share more on social media about that, and I had to unfortunately delete my tweet because it was just going in a whole direction that I was like, no, guys, you're totally misunderstanding. So I was like, well, maybe on one of these podcasts I'll be able to tell the full story.
Yes.
Leave all the details, please.
I'm like, I really hope I'm not going to get in any trouble for this. I think it's fine. But basically, there was more to that scene that unfortunately couldn't stay in because it was running really long. And I had one of the producers even reach out and apologize. Like, I'm sorry, but like the episode was like really long. And as you guys saw, there's a lot of important stuff to cover in there. And Taylor coming back, they had to make sure everything, you know, that got in, like the wedding especially, right? So they had to cover a wedding, a trial, a arresting of everybody, and then I can't remember how the episode ends, but yeah, so there was a lot. So basically they captured the essence of it, and that's what I was proud of, and that's what I wanted to communicate. The photo I used was a snapshot from sets that one of the wardrobe took for me, and I was so grateful. And it was me shaking Wade's hand, which we don't see in the episode. Yeah. And so I was like, context, this didn't make it in, here's why. But anyway, I'm really happy about this scene. And then unfortunately there was just a lot of frustration that the scene was shortened at all. No. So I was like, and I appreciate the protectiveness and the fury to defend and to, you know, have as much of Thelma in this as possible, but I think they captured the essence of it, which is the partnership and the allyship that Wade and, you know, her office was showing Thelma and the council, and that's just something that again, another dream to self-governance and sovereignty, indigenous sovereignty. Like that's like what we're, you know, working towards, which requires both parties working and seeing each other as equals, showing respect and humility in times of ignorance, you know. And so oftentimes it's, you know, on the side of our federal government that we are just constantly taking hits, and unfortunately we're very patient people and a very forgiving, but yeah, we're not going anywhere, so we're so resilient. We stick around, and I feel like yeah, just this scene showed so much of that, of what I wish I could see in our world, in our communities more today. And both America and Canada, like, and honestly, any Indigenous content with Indigenous people on it. So yeah, so there was a point where I don't know if I want to say this. They were talking about, like,
we can edit if necessary.
Okay, if you need to. So there was a moment where they say, where Wade says that they would be, you know, the autonomy and whatnot, and she leads into more to say that they would be renaming the session. Yeah, because you cannot name something that's not ceded, which means not surrendered. And I was like,
right.
Yes!
Oh, that's so good.
I know.
That is
good,
so
right?
good. If nothing else, that makes us happy to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys get the 4-1. I don't know. This is my first really huge role, so if I get in trouble, then it's a lesson learned. But whatever. I'm a troublemaker. I take after Thelma.
She's
I
a
guess.
rebel. She's got an army.
You still have that army. Never disband.
Yeah. Meet my army.
Totally. But honestly, I think at the end of the day, like, the writers wanted to see it too. Everyone wanted to see it in there, but it was just like, unfortunately, you know. And so she turns to Thelma and says, I'm looking forward to working with you, or something along those lines. And then I say something along those lines as well, and I shake her hand. But yeah, to what's going through her mind, honestly, probably a lot was going through my mind at that moment. You know, the first take, I was brought to tears. I don't know if that was Thelma or Liv, but or both. But yeah, I think there was a part of me that could feel like my ancestors feeling so proud, and maybe this is just some semblance of manifestation of what maybe, you know, the generations after me will see. And very proud of myself, and proud to be, sorry, I keep talking about myself like I'm her, but Thelma, proud of herself, and proud to be Indigenous and Black, you know? And yeah, so it's a very powerful moment, I think. And we did it a few times, and I just, you know, the emotions didn't always happen the same way, but I do. And other people on set were even crying. The woman who took the photo was like tearing up, and yeah, it was really, and that was my last day on set too, actually. Yeah. Aww. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What a big scene to end it on too. Like all the feels.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was very what's the word? Lethargic. No, not lethargic. That's when you're cloudy.
Cathartic?
When you something cathartic.
Cathartic, yes.
Cathartic.
Thank you. Words for those.
I don't know. What's English?
It's a hot mess. That's what it is.
Yeah, it is. It's a really hot mess. It's Good Lord. Sweet lesbian Jesus, what is English?
I love that.
You know, it was so fun for me to like make the edit of her.
I didn't even get to look at it for very long. It was so great.
Oh, we'll send it to you. Don't you worry.
You'll see it. I'm so sorry.
Looking forward to it.
Theora apologizes for me and Kaitlynn a lot. We'll just.
No.
Okay. So, there's one dynamic with Thelma in the show that we really enjoyed, apart from the one with Abigail, and it was Thelma and Millie.
I love Millie.
Me too. We loved her so much. So we call her Auntie.
Yeah, she is. She's Auntie. That's real.
She has Auntie energy.
Yeah, she has Auntie energy all the way.
Did you see the back of her sweater? I don't know if you guys get a good shot of that. Yeah, so her sweater says Antibodies Running Club.
Stop it.
That's just, oh man.
No!
And it's like a fox. It's a fox wearing little boots and or running shoes.
No!
I love that so
Please!
Oh my God, it's so perfect.
A picture of that.
I snatched it. I have it. I have a picture of it. I snatched it.
Please.
I snatched it for Olivia, who plays Millie. Her and I are really good friends. We've been friends for a while, and so I saw it at the Motherland sale, and I was like, I'm gonna get this for you, and I just gave it to her recently. But oh my gosh, it's so good. Here it is, yeah. Antibodies. It's reversed.
That's so amazing.
Walking
so much.
It's a little wolf.
That's amazing. Oh my God, that is.
And then it says
everything about that screams Millie.
They're so creative. That's another thing. I have to like. Just huge thank you to costume and set design, because they nailed it. They went and did their research. Like, this was not some kind of like stereotypical, like, you know, they understood the contemporized Indigenous experience, and they like even at the council meeting in episode 7, they had like the beating kit, they had the bingo, the bingo station, like Wasna, which is kind of like Bannock for Cree. Oh man, it's just they did such a good job. Even like the trucks had license plates on them that said like the great or the session, and had like eagles on them, and just the attention to detail was incredible.
Yes.
I was so impressed. We all were. But sorry, I got sidetracked. Millie.
No.
This
This is like the stuff that we love to hear about.
The crew on this show is crazy dedicated to literally everything they did. So thank you for organically saying that.
Yes, please.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
We've been doing interviews with crew members because Kaitlynn kind of got us into this, where we really felt like they needed to be in the spotlight as well. So we actually just spoke with Tracy from Costume.
Oh, Molly. Okay, yeah, she's so amazing.
So we got to talk to her about her experience and her work on the show. So it's amazing that you mention the attention to detail, because she told us how they were just sitting there churning out uniforms constantly.
Yeah, and literally our next question is about your wardrobe. So
yes, it
glad
is.
You brought it up.
Totally.
But
oh yeah.
I guess the rest of the question with Millie was, how did Thelma take Millie's betrayal?
Wow, great question. Oh man, I wish there was more of Millie.
Yes.
Afterwards. Same. But yeah, so it hurt because that's her cousin, right? She would have babysat her, she would have changed her diapers, you know, been there for all her first words, like that kind of thing. That was family, right? And so that betrayal was heartbroken. And then I remember the day that happened. I was bringing some of that scene was a little bit cut up a little bit, not too much, but like 1 or 2 lines or something. But the pain that Thelma felt of that betrayal, and not just to her, but to the whole community. She put them all on a freaking like vulnerable and it targets. And so yeah, she was angry, she was hurt, heartbroken. You know, the first take we did was doing coverage of Millie, and I full tears. I was like, okay. David Frenzy was doing I think that's his last name. He was directing, and he's like, hold on to it. We need it for your coverage. But yeah, it was tough. And I think that was the day after Russia was invading Ukraine. And there was just something about, that kind of this, you know, the
parallel,
the parallel in the session being invaded, and kind of having this like real life, obviously, you know, very different, but that tether that experience. And so I kind of just like allowed myself to go to that place. And at first I had in my mind how I wanted to play it, but that day, and then hearing that news, and I was like, no, I think this is going deeper, and this is more painful. And so that's what I brought to it that day. But I wish there could have been some reconciliation with Millie. It could be seen, because restorative justice is such a huge part of our culture, and we don't necessarily operate by the colonial set of laws, and you know, with time sentencing and monetizing, and like we do have that because we still live in this colonial structure, but within our communities, restorative justice is so huge, and it actually helps for healing long term, not just in that person's life, but their generations to come. And there's a reason why we have that, because we're always thinking about 7 generations ahead. So I asked Brian, I'm like, so like, if there was another season, could we like maybe see Millie and Thelma, like,
Yes.
making nice?
Please.
He's like, oh, I wish.
Actually, we just want to spin off of the session. Thanks.
Yeah.
Oh
seriously,
my
thank you very
gosh.
much. Please.
Yes.
Amazing.
So much material. So much
Yes.
material.
So much. And we only got there in season 3, and I'm like, there's this huge thing that,
I know.
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
yeah.
Elliot's world is so big that there could be about 10 shows.
Yeah. Honestly, and I've been so careful not to say anything because I don't want to. It's not my place, but like in this day and age, anything is possible. Anything.
Yep.
I'm not saying I know something at all. Okay.
No.
Anything
we would
is
never
possible.
think that you were saying that.
Never.
You're just saying anything in the world is possible.
Correct.
And also, that is why everyone is continuing to forge ahead, shall we say. Mm-hmm. There are things in the works fandom wise.
Okay.
I don't know if you saw the trucks outside Hulu.
I did see that.
So
yeah.
It's the same group that.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. Which is literally just a conglomeration of all, like, a bunch of fandom groups. So.
Mm-hmm. That is incredible. I think it was Alicia. I'm not sure how it's pronounced, but
Alicia.
She told me about that. Alicia. Okay. I was like mouth gapped open. I was like, oh my gosh. I had no idea. I didn't know how huge the fan base was when I came into this. So yeah,
wow.
That was a whole culture shock thing.
Yeah, you don't want to get in Alicia's way either, because listen, that woman has statistics. She like rented an ice cream truck for the convention. She's oh my gosh, she is just an organizer and a half.
Mm-hmm. That's incredible. Wow.
I mean, we have a lot of people in the community that do these things, like get together and write articles that get like published in Diva about representation and Motherland. So it's just a really cool place to be.
Oh, yeah, it is.
So yeah, we did not. All we heard was you never know. That's all you said.
Oh, I said anything is possible.
Anything is possible. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's true. Why not?
So, back in the world of possibilities, kind of. This is a bad segue, but I want to ask you about Thelma's wardrobe, because we did talk to Tracy. We didn't talk about your wardrobe though, but your wardrobe for Thelma was so like unique and fun. Like I remember her having this pair of like overalls that were like painted like a forest, and so I was just wondering what you thought about her wardrobe. You do? Oh, they're so
I should have
good.
Them.
Oh man,
I should have brought them with me.
Those her wardrobe is killer.
It was so fun. My God. I loved it.
My fitting was 4 hours.
Whoa.
Really? 4 hours. Yeah, and I only ate a smoothie that day, and I had no idea. That was my first time ever. Yeah, learned my lesson. I had no idea. It was my first like recurring guest star kind of role, and I didn't know they were fitting my entire closet. I thought it was like episode 1, or the first episode or something. So they're like, no, this is like the whole show. I was like, okay.
Oh, okay.
Faint. Luckily they had some protein bars in there, but yeah. Oh my gosh, it was so much fun. Oh, can I cuss on this?
Yeah.
Yes, we do it all the time.
There's no children here.
Fuck yeah, that's what I wanted to say. Yeah,
no, you can say whatever you want.
Okay. Yeah, it was so. I felt, oh God, like I was made for this role. And I love that Tracy they were so great about like letting me have, feeling like I was a part of this, a collaborator in this. Obviously, they told me to put something on, I put it on. But, it helped me to sort of make the character and find how she moves. And there was a huge conversation about my hair, and because I had it really long, and sorry, I don't want to get it off topic, but we'll come back to the wardrobe. But my hair was really long, and then I was planning on cutting it, and then this tape came in, and I was like overthinking everything. So I was like, this is my dream role. I don't want to fuck it up. What if I cut my hair and then they're like, she doesn't look native enough? And then what if my hair isn't curly enough? And oh my gosh, yeah, that is very much the lived experience of a mixed race person. Yeah, the whole like, I'm not black enough to be black, I'm not native enough to be native or whatever. But I'm over that, by the way. I'm very secure in my identity. But anyway, but this was getting to me, and I talked to my agents, and they're like, I think that you're okay, that your hair is probably not a huge part of the decision making. You're either right for the role or you're not. So yeah, so I was like, you're right. So I ended up going ahead and cutting my hair, and it was for a very specific and intentional purpose, and sent pictures ahead of time, and they were thinking about braids and stuff. And I was like, oh, and then they were taking from, oh, what's her name? She's an Afro-Indigenous rapper based out of New York. They were using inspiration from her. It's going to kill me that I don't remember now. Maybe it'll come back. But so they were taking inspiration from her as oh, I'm frozen. No. Can you guys see me?
You're not frozen for us.
We can see you. So it's okay.
Okay, good. Yeah, so they were taking inspiration from this rapper, and God, I hate that I can't remember her name. And I thought it was great, so I was like, oh my God, I love her. And so something princess. I don't know why I'm not remembering it.
Maybe Kaitlynn can Google
Princess Nokia.
Yes.
Oh, I love her.
Yes.
I
Thanks,
have
Kaitlynn.
her on several of my playlists. I love her.
Yes, Princess Nokia. So, so she was the inspiration for my character, for like the style and whatnot. Yeah,
I'm so happy about that.
I was so excited when I heard that. I'm like, this cannot get any better. Oh my God.
Oh man.
Yeah. So she so then I went in for the fit, 4 hours, whatnot. It was the last episode that I actually got to have, like, they okay, oh thank God this didn't happen. It was okay, don't get me wrong, I loved their pick, it was a great option, but then I was just like, what's that? And there was these leather pants on the wrap, and I think they were one of the other council members' pants in a scene at one point. And I was like, can I try those on? And so I'm putting them on, and they're like, oh yeah, we also have this. We have this blazer, and actually it was supposed to be alders. Alder was supposed to, oh no, the shoes were alders. There was these shoes that I wore that Alder, it was a part of her closet or something like that. And I was like, oh, I like these shoes. And so I started putting all this stuff together, and they had this blazer that they wanted to have featured for so long, and no one ever got to wear it. And so I was like, well, like maybe, it was a beautiful, I don't know if you guys have a shot of it, but yeah, so that whole like costume was like very much a collaboration, and I got to put that together. But originally they had me in like this green jumpsuit that I looked like a pilot almost, very militant. And so I was like, no, this is a press conference. She can dress up. She can look good. Let her. So it was nice.
I am glad that you
Yes
went in and kind of just put some stuff together with them. So
yeah, it
turned out really well. Like, good job on y'all. Like,
there were some bandanas and stuff that I was trying out, and it was interesting because as we were dressing her, I was like, I kind of feel like, I don't know if this is a segue at all, but I kind of feel like Thelma's queer. I feel like, I don't know, I just I got this vibe, I was like, I think she is. you know, maybe she's not super like broadcasting it or whatnot, but I'm like, I think, you know, but also for Indigenous people, it's just so like normal that yeah. Anyway, so
Kaitlyn's typing in my notes right now, and it says, "Oh my god, it's literally a segue."
Literally, you're reading our brains.
Yes,
and we love you for that.
Stop getting in our heads. It's spooky. Listen, I'm just,
awesome.
like,
I'm so glad the question was coming because I was wondering if
the way you explained it was perfect, though. Like, the vibe that I got from her was that she was probably queer, but wasn't like somebody who that was her identity. It was just like a part of who she was, and it was like whatever. If someone like asked her, or if she happened like it happened to come up as a subject, yeah, but not something that she would just put out there. But yeah, so the next question was, who would you ship Thelma with?
Ship Thelma with? I'm sorry, what does that mean?
See, here we go.
That's okay.
All right, from
Bree's
the world of fandom, we're going to make a dictionary. I'm going to write an entire fandom guide.
Oh,
okay,
no.
So
what
ship is short for ship is short for relationship. It's okay.
Okay.
So you like, who would you put her with romantically?
I'm so glad you asked this.
You set us up for this question. So
you tell us who you think, and then we'll tell you what we think.
Oh god,
this is gonna be great. Okay. Okay, I thought about this, and it honestly came to me on my last day on set. So episode 9, because I shared a scene with them, and I was like, wait, I totally could see like Thelma and M, like,
ooh, I love that.
total. Yeah,
we love it.
I saw it. I saw it, but
I can see that.
Maybe the writers didn't see it.
No, definitely could.
Writers are like, damn it, we don't
like
have
power
time.
couple, loyal.
Yes.
And now Kaitlynn is typing in my notes again, and it just says tally, tally, tally.
Oh, tally! Yeah,
she ships Tally and
with everyone. I mean, because it works.
Well, yeah, but
everyone.
She's been saying this for a while.
Really? That's so funny because everyone was like, "Oh, get off Amalia! She's taken." And I was like, y'all read the scene wrong. That's not what was happening in the scene.
Who said that? What scene are they talking about?
What show are they watching?
Fans were like,
I know what scene they're talking about. No. I'm sorry, but I did not get that whatsoever.
I'm so glad.
Hello, thank you very much.
No. It's because of the way they shot it.
Yes,
because,
it is.
Okay, because the scene was because Thelma resonates with Adil. And we catch that in the introduction with the speech and whatnot. And he speaks all the languages and whatnot, and what happened to his people, very, similar. And so she says, a couple of you were starting to grow on me. She looks at both Amalia, because of her experience growing up in the session, and Adil, but they didn't get the shot of her looking at Adil. So everyone thought that she was digging Amalia. I'm like, no. It's a total,
that's not what I got at all.
moment.
So,
oh man,
I think people are just
Tony. Like, we don't need to see you, Tony.
Poor Tony. Nope. Out. Your background, Tony.
Your background.
Well, they got the shot. They panned over when she looks at Abigail, and because she looks at Abigail right after, and we had this great idea. It was Ashley came to me. She's like, when you looked at Tony, I just felt like this, like you were coming, like you were looking at him, like you were, eyeing him up. So like, try that. I was like, oh, I didn't think of that. But I'm like, I feel like she wouldn't be coming for Tony. I don't know. Or rather, Adil.
No, I'd more see her coming for Abigail, but whatever.
But yeah, no, Tally. Okay, cool. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that would be the one I would see more.
Really? Say more. I'm curious.
Kaitlynn, come on and say more.
Just come on. We're inviting you.
Damn it! Go start it!
Camera doesn't like to work.
So this is my territory.
Tally.
Anything involving Tally. Anything involving Scylla is here. Anything involving Tally is here. Anything involving Nicta is over here.
Okay.
I just know that when I watched the episode, my brain stuck on it, and now I'm just... I swear you looked at Tally at some point. There was definitely a look at some point, right? Or was I getting this character...
No, it's okay. She looks at both Amalia and Tally, like the shot where she's like, a couple of you were starting to grow on me, and it like shot to Amalia, and then Tally standing next to Amalia. I keep saying their real names versus their character names.
No, it's okay. We do it too.
We do that all the time.
Okay, you know who I'm
about to
talking
say
about.
Jess.
Scylla. There we go. Scylla. So Scylla and Tally are standing next to each other. I'm trying to think if there was another shot. I mean, if anything, Tally was getting I think
Tally was the one who did the look. Oh, really?
Ooh.
Oh, maybe. Oh.
I don't know. I mean,
she was single.
She could literally. I would ship her with a brick wall.
Yeah. Because
like, she has chemistry with everyone.
Anything.
She's just such an intense, like, sensitive and like emoting person.
Yes.
I just
and not far
love
from
her.
Jess at all. Maybe it's just that Jess and I have like such a great, like, strong bond and like sisterhood.
Good.
I mean, she's very easy. She's very easy to become close with, I feel like.
Yeah, she's great. She's awesome. But I didn't see that. That's a first for me hearing that. I thought I thought like M was more in like Thelma. Not that Tally's out of Thelma's league or anything like that, but like just their like responsibilities and what stuff. Yeah, no.
Mm-hmm.
Let's establish that. But anyway.
I also watch these episodes half asleep, so
it's Kaitlyn's brain.
Okay.
Imagining.
I like that you presented that. That was great.
Well, I just think it's also that we got more of Thelma with the other characters, so
yeah,
totally
right. Yeah, and like Tally comes and frees Thelma from the chair when she's tied up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's where your brain's getting it from,
She's
Kaitlynn.
Like feeding it. What? Be careful, or Kaitlyn's gonna be writing fan fiction soon.
No, I have way too much work to do. It's all right. You feel free to do it for me, though.
I have other priorities. Like, we're all too busy.
Aww.
We got a lot going on. Yeah,
it's okay. But I like your answer of M a lot because power couple.
Yes,
and they're both like high in their own separate government and stuff, so they have a lot in common at the end of the day. That's a fun one.
They're very protective, loyal.
They know who they are.
They
both
look
of them
really good together.
That too.
S is such a gorgeous person in general. Like, period. End of sentence. Energy wise, physically, everything.
I rewatched
like meeting them in person. Like you can't not gravitate towards them.
I mean, S forever has my heart for shoving mango in my face because they found out that I didn't eat all day.
Yeah, we got to meet S together and had like a weekend with a bunch of the cast.
It sounded like we just had a weekend with us.
No, it was a convention. Use your words, guys.
I was there shoving mango at me too. So
out of context.
There's
Taylor kept trying to feed me. She's like, here. And I'm like, girl.
We've got a couple stories from that weekend. It was a long weekend.
Amazing.
It's a whole nother story. That's a lot.
Anyway.
Well, we'll hear
that's
the
next question.
But back to Thelma. So we're just curious, like, is there something that you learned about yourself while playing Thelma? Or like have a takeaway from that
I mean,
role?
tons.
Good.
I don't know if it's something that Thelma like emulated herself, or just the process of me as an actor learning and just growing in that sense. I think that context, I'm very hard on myself. I take things very seriously, and I think Thelma shares that as well. But I'm always trying to do the most, and I think this whole experience is one of the biggest things that I've realized is that I'm more than an actor, and I have so much to offer that isn't just productivity, and that who I am is enough. And that's the biggest takeaway that I learned from this experience. Not necessarily, again, Thelma's personality that taught me, but just the embodying her, and long days on set and juggling everything else in my life. And I realized how much I had a very high expectations of myself, and I know where it comes from. Done a lot of therapy. but and so I think that was one of the biggest lessons. And when I came to that realization, it was terrifying because, again, I've had my eye on the prize for a very long time. But to consider that, okay, it's okay if this doesn't work out. It's okay if, maybe I choose to do something else. And that was terrifying to face, because then it's like, I can't give up. I can't quit. I can't stop. And neither does Thelma. Doesn't think like that either. But there was a freedom in the surrender, because I put so much of my identity into my career when that is this much of who I am. And if anything, allowing myself to be the fullness of the person that I am actually informs my craft. And so I've learned to just sort of like chill out, relax, not take things so seriously. I grunt and grit my way through things, and it bleeds into my characters quite a bit. If anything, I kept taking the note kind of personal when people tell me to bring it back a little bit. I'm also a theater trained actor. Don't like, it's okay. You don't have to like project to the other side of the room. It's we can keep it up here. You don't have to be so. I was like, are you trying to tell me to tone it down? Like, don't be so angry, kind of thing, right? But the anger can still be there, but it can be more intimate. And so just that discovery was huge, massive for me.
I write notes while they talk, and I'm behind the camera. So I just wanted to say that my favorite line that you say is, "Shut up, Millie, you're coming with us."
And I love that
That
scene.
whole scene was
It's so
amazing,
good.
though. It was such a good scene. It's so good. We were like, yes!
I wish I brought Olivia on here. If you guys want, I can see if she'll be interviewed or whatever.
Please?
But yeah, she's not a social media person, so it's not easy to get a hold of her. But if you'd like, I can ask her, because she hasn't even seen it yet, and she's just kind of like, I have to put it in front of her for her to watch it, and I keep meaning to. But yeah, so she had so much fun. She had so much fun, and the whole like trolley thing, throwing the trolley in the line of fire
in the kitchen.
Oh my, that was her. That was all her. I was like,
I was dying at that.
Freaking hilarious. Oh, she's so funny.
I love when she opens that door and you're just there.
Oh my god, that whole scene. It's just
so good.
Sometimes we could.
I need to watch that again after we get off of here.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So good.
Yeah. Yeah, she's just like, just leave me behind. Shut up, Millie. I think you're talking to, dumbass.
She's doing that. Oh, just leave me behind. I'll slow you down. You played that perfectly, and I loved it.
Oh, good. Glad to hear it.
No, yeah, you and your character were just perfect, and I'm so glad we got her. Because
me too.
Sometimes it's difficult bringing in new characters because you're like, but the other ones, but like this one, we're like, give us more.
No, yeah, it was perfect because a lot of times it's really hard to bring a new character in and give them that much time, but it felt so, I don't know, Thelma just kind of slid in there perfectly and was an addictive character that we just wanted to see all the time.
That's so interesting because I always wonder about that from your guys' perspective, because I'm kind of jealous, to be honest, because I don't have the eyes that you have fresh, right? I know what's going to happen next, and I know what's going to be said, and the only thing I don't know is how I look. So, but I sometimes wish like I could experience how it feels to see, you know, this person come in, because you guys have been following this for so long and anticipating the next thing, and then there's like, who's this person? And it's like, yeah. So I was thinking about that recently. I'm like, oh, I don't really know what that feels like, and well, I do if for other shows, but you know, for this particular character, and so I've only heard, you know, that, you know, I haven't heard anything negative actually, except in the beginning.
Wow, the looking at Amalia part, yeah.
Yeah, like
that was a no.
If you look at Scylla, you're gonna get.
It was the fact that I was just such a bitch. Like I wasn't.
Yeah, there was like 5 minutes where I was like, oh, I don't know, and then I was like, oh no, I love her.
No, I was like, yes, from the beginning. Maybe it's just that I like bitches. I don't know. Ask my exes.
I didn't even like me. She was being so difficult and so like impossible, and like was giving no inches, no fucks, like zero fucks given. And I mean, it was great, but I was looking, there was this one shot where it like zooms in on my like resting bitch face, and I'm like, oh, they're gonna hate me.
See, you thought that, and I thought, damn, she's hot.
We were very excited. We're like, who is this?
We were very excited.
Who is this? Like, when we saw the trailer, we were like, who is that character? We're going to love whoever this is. And we did.
Wait, didn't you? They did that shot where you're like in the mist.
Oh, yes.
I'm talking about the mist.
At the border.
It looked so cool and badass that we were like,
yes. Bree, didn't you pick Thelma out as the queer one?
Yeah.
Of the group?
Yeah, we did the trailer review.
Council group?
Yes.
Yeah.
So thanks for validating
We did our
us.
trailer, because we did like that whole analyze the trailer thing.
Yeah. That was 3 hours for a literally 2-minute video.
Listen,
That's
Linda.
all I talk about. This is one of the important things that happened.
The important thing that happened was I looked at the council, I was like, one of them's queer, it's Thelma.
There was 2 actually.
More than the rainbows, right?
There was 2. In fact, they actually had to recast. They did a weird recasting thing. So this was back when COVID was like, oh! And we had an original person, then played by Nyla Carpenter or Carpentier. I'm not sure how it's pronounced. Also a really good friend of mine. She has her own shawl that she comes in, and it's like rainbow colors. Yeah. And so she was originally the character, and then for some reason we had to move dates. Then she couldn't do it because she was dancing at an event, and then they brought in another friend of mine, Peter, and he's actually featured on my Instagram. You can see him kind of wearing like green, and me and oh gosh, I always get the character names and the real names mixed up. But Kelly William was the other council member. He's the one in all the denim and the jade, the cowboy. So they were kind of like flanking me, but Peter was unfortunately not able to. They had to we had to do another day where we were shooting because they sent us all home that day, so we didn't shoot anything because we didn't have enough people. We literally didn't have enough people to film it because too many people tested positive. So we were all sent home, and then unfortunately Peter couldn't come back, so they brought. But then the new date worked for Nyla, so then we got Nyla. But then they brought Peter in as one of the session cops in 6, I think, who walks up to Rael's dad and Scylla and is like, "What are you doing here?"
Oh yeah, him. Oh,
yeah. So that's
that took a while.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. So he was originally, and then he was kind of like his character as the council member was like they were making him a little more like femme because the character originally was queer, and it was great. He looked so great. I was like, hi.
Oh, man. So we talked a little bit about your ancestry, and I went through all of your Instagram posts because they were very interesting, and I loved everything that you shared. You don't laugh. You know I love doing my research.
I know you do. You're very
It's
thorough.
my favorite part. Yeah. I love getting to know everybody. But one of your Instagram posts that I lost my place in, hold on, let's retake that. One of your Instagram posts that I love is the one where you talk about your parents. How have they helped you connect to your roots and shape your identity?
I haven't even started talking. I'm already emotional.
Success.
Yeah.
Kaitlyn's goal is to make you cry.
That's what I was trained to do, actually.
Yeah. My parents are, they're my inspiration. My relationship with them has evolved over time. You know, we as children look at them as superheroes, and then as I get older, I'm like, oh, you're a human. You're a person who's made mistakes and who's just trying to figure it out the same as me. And so now I'm starting to have more of a friendship, especially more with my mother. But yeah, so my father was, I don't even know how to answer this question. I guess each in their own way they've put their, imprint on me. We are pieces of them, literally. And, but also how I was raised, all the values that I have, and the values that I'm proud of: family, and honor, integrity, keeping your word, doing a good job, and never giving up. And my mother is incredibly resilient. I get she likes just like the joy in the little things, and she's very simple. She doesn't ask for much, so she's so humble. My father is an eccentric, very unique human. I wish I could share more stories. I was raised on a farm, and so I had a very unique childhood. But I was raised with a very strong work ethic, and that really came from my father. My mother was more of the nurturer. Yeah, they're an interesting team. I have 8 siblings, so I came from a family of 9, and the 2 of them have been married for over 40 years. And yeah.
It's sad that's like such a huge achievement.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is.
Yeah, I have this example of they just, and this isn't to say that someone else who decided to, choose a different path is lesser than or anything like that. It's just they stuck with it, and through the good, the bad, and the ugly, and we saw it all. And they're my heroes. You know, when people say, you know, who's your superhero, and it really is them. And I grew up in a very white community, and so I dealt with a lot of prejudice and racism growing up. And I was called every name in the book, every single name. It was interesting because they only saw me for my blackness. I don't think they even knew what names to call me because they were just too ignorant to know what the native derogatory terms there were. But yeah, so I had that exposure, and it was my father who was, you know, shared so much about his life and his upbringing that I identify with my blackness from an early age, because of that experience. And it wasn't until I got older, and my mother was the one who really raised us with knowing of our indigeneity. So yeah, I had this sort of like these two worlds, and yeah, they obviously there were some things that weren't perfect. There's no such thing as perfect, but I'm actually grateful for that because then it's so beautiful. It's human. It's so colorful. It's so unique, and I can learn from their mistakes, from where they messed up. Because if they got it perfect, then what's there to learn? So yeah, they're incredible humans, and they're very proud of me. My mother wasn't. Sorry, I'm laughing because I'm replaying it in my mind when I shared the news. When I shared the news with my mother, she was sitting across the table from me, and they're older, right? So my parents are in their 60s. My mom, she's like, I'm really happy for you. I'm not too crazy about the witches, though. My mother is a very devout Catholic, and so I was like, of course you're not. Just immediately like, I'm never good enough for you.
I bet she would not like the ending of the show then.
Yeah.
Since now everyone's a witch.
Yeah, my mom is not a fan of Hydrate for Lesbian Jesus.
And honestly, it's interesting because I've had that question before, and I was like with people, because I am Christian and I do identify as Christian, but this for me was not. It wasn't a conflict at all for me, or a contention, or anything like that. And I don't resonate with the particular denomination I was raised in, but I still resonate with being Christian. And so, but yeah, so. And then my dad, in his own way, showed how proud he was. He says to me, oh God, it was such a backhanded compliment, but for my father, that's his personality. He's like, oh, and I shared it with him in the group chat because I didn't get to see him in person, but I was like, told them the news and showed a trailer so that they had some context. And he's like, well, I guess I'll have to start telling people that you're no longer a wannabe actress. She'd be an actress.
Parents, man, parents.
Dang.
I was like, I've been an actress. What are you saying?
I resonate with that so much with my mother, so I feel you. She once told me I'd be pretty if I lost weight. So
dang, girl.
They mean well.
Parents, man, they mean the best, but they just sometimes don't know how to say things in a way that's going to it's something.
But you know, I because it's so on brand with my father, and honestly, when I read it, I cried. I cried, and not in like a, you know, you don't see me. It was like he actually admitted that even there are times where the people closest to you they doubt. In fact, it's the ones closest that would doubt the most, you know? And it's because they know you and they've known you since you were little, and they have this image in their mind of, you know, who you are and who you're supposed to be and whatnot. And I showed him something else. And it was kind of like him admitting to like, wow, okay, you showed me. And that was like, I was like, yeah, okay, Dad, thanks.
Yeah, there's something really beautiful in little things like that where it doesn't seem like it's a sweet moment, but it is to you because of your experience with that person. So
Yeah. Yeah, they're great. They're honestly they ground me. And they know me very well. And then the thing is I evolve as a human. And they're both as back in Ontario, most of my family is. But they both they've known me my whole lives, and they're getting to know the new human that I become. And yeah, it's I don't know what it's like. I'm not a parent, but they've definitely they're very I know that their children are their greatest joy and their greatest legacy. So, yeah, and I'm proud to be their daughter immensely.
that's awesome.
You're a great person. I just want you to know that.
Yeah.
I don't know who said that because both of you are frozen. Who said that?
It was
Caitlynn.
Caitlyn, but
Caitlyn.
we all echo the sentiment and we love you. So
Oh, thank you.
I didn't think it was possible to love you more. Like, I've been loving getting to talk to you. I mean, I've been quiet most of the time, but I've been talking to myself over here.
Likewise, likewise. Thank you for having me. And honestly, sometimes this is very new for me. So sometimes I don't know what's okay to say, what's not okay to say. And not in like a
Everything's okay to say.
socially, but also just in the what could potentially come back to bite me.
right.
But I'm an honest person,
I understand.
and I yeah, I just come as me. So yeah.
That's all you can do.
Mhm.
So you've talked about making your mental health a priority and starting therapy and how
Mm.
training in the gym saved your life.
Oh wow, you
And
guys really went and dug.
yeah, there's a huge stigma talking about mental health, even though there's so many people struggling with their mental health. So do you feel it was important to share what you've gone through so that other people can to kind of like help in the process of killing that stigma of talking
Mhm.
about our mental health?
Yeah, it's again for me it's also a work in progress. What cuz I think to a degree it's like and social media is interesting because you'll never be able to get the full picture. You'll never be able to show everything. It's impossible. Even in this interaction, we are like the physical humans here, but you still won't get the full picture. So, but I still think it's important to have a conversation around it because it's also a part of who we are. We are emotional, mental, physical, spiritual beings, and I think I just have this sort of like authenticity, uh, thing where I can't lie. I hate lying. Yeah, I'll share my victories and my highs, but and I'm being very intentional about what lows I share, because sometimes it's hard to say. Like I don't always want to because it's not what I need in that moment. However, when I move through something and I pass through something and I'm on the other side of it, then I share because I'm in a place of a more healed version of myself, or that part of me has been healed. Because I think you can actually do more harm to yourself. So it's just having that awareness. So in saying that, yeah, I went through. Oh yeah, now I'm remembering the things I posted. I've honestly forgotten. I'm like, oh yeah, I said
I'm
that.
here to remind you.
Thank you. Yeah, so mental health is in my like the issues I've lived with my whole life, and not just with me, but in my family and very intimately. And I experienced a lot of things that maybe I was probably too young to have experienced and gone through, but I'm here now and um, more resilient because of it. Not to say that I hate the saying "This is what doesn't kill you makes you stronger," kind of thing. So it's like I just needed to be a kid, but yeah, there is some truth in that. So I think it's you know, if someone can take away something from my testimony, if it can even save someone's life, even if it's just one person, then 100% it was worth being said. I don't care how I'm perceived because of it. I'm being true to who I am, and at the end of the day, at the end of this life, it's just me that I have to be okay with. And so I want to impart some of my journey with people, and in the hopes that it could touch someone's life, experience. Sometimes I wonder if it's doing anything at all. Like, I have no idea if this is gonna hit anybody, but here it is.
It is.
It is.
I really admire you for like being willing and open to sharing that. I know my social media, I share things like that, but I feel like no one probably even sees it, but that doesn't matter because it also shows me, if I go back, you see your journey. And it's kind of just like a journal in a way.
It's so true.
It can be.
Yeah, that's so true, because I think I did go back and see something, or when you mentioned to me, oh, the stuff in here, and I'm like, how did I, I'm just recalling like the particular one with my fitness and my 1 year mark. And I've actually lost progress, or this BS, by the way, lost progress. I've lost definition, but I didn't lose progress. We've only moved forward. Okay. Period.
Love it.
Note
Yes.
That's your tagline.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. My niece is riding her bike around the property. My brother's across the street, and so I guess the kids are out playing. But yeah, she's like a spitting image of me, by the way. Yeah, she's like a mini me. But yeah, fitness, yeah. So it sometimes I wonder, I'm like, should I go back and like take some stuff off, or am I sharing too much? And I'm also very, private about my family, and I posted my parents, and that's, I think it. I think I posted my siblings.
That's your first post.
Yeah, there's other
Same.
stuff that I've deleted since then. We we level up, Yeah, it's so true, because there is the stigma of like, oh, do you want people thinking this, or do you want people thinking that, or you can bring harm to yourself or the people in your life, or and I have to remember now, because my platform is growing, and my name and my reputation and all that stuff, and who I represent also. I can't speak for my whole community, but when people look at me, especially people who are not of my community, there's definitely things that can be, said or perceived, and it's hard. It's a hard balance between like being true to yourself and being honest, and feeling protective of your family, of those closest to you, and of your community, in my case. So everyone's frozen, and I can't see anyone's.
No,
we're not
reaction.
moving. We're mesmerized by what you're saying.
Yeah, like
everyone was moving.
We're all literally just here nodding and like
refresh your.
There we go.
Did that work?
Yeah, that worked. Oh, thank you so much. I'm gonna do mine too, because all of a sudden I zoomed in and I don't know how that happened.
I don't know.
Theora is still
you turn
frozen,
your camera off and on.
Turn my
that's
camera
okay. Am I okay?
Yeah, on the left lower, you're good.
Okay, cool.
Left lower, it'll.
Got it.
There you go.
I zoom in every time someone else changes their camera. Here, let me fix mine. There we go. But yeah, so it's a delicate balance. I don't have it all figured out, and it could change as I get older. But I personally want to try and remain myself, because there's certain things that are like I don't have intellectual property over. Even though it's a part of my life, it impacted me as a child. There is mental, not even just mental health, but like mental illness in my family, and I was deeply impacted as that. It impacted my entire life, and recently have I only just become aware of it through therapy, and fitness has been a huge part of, you know, that process of like literally healing and rewiring your pathways in my brain and getting the endorphins that I need. Just all very scientific things, but that's a huge part of the process for me, for myself. And so yeah, I think things have changed a little bit for me. I've become a little bit more private. I've become a little more, what's the word? I just called it the other day. She's like, I feel like, I'm going to try and do her accent. I feel like you're on an incubation period where you're just, I can't, I gotta spend more time with
You're
it.
doing pretty well.
You're doing
really well. I was impressed.
I was impressed
too. Is Jess here?
She said something else. She pronounces like her TH's like an R, or I can't remember. I can't remember what, like there's a certain consonant that completely is different from the way it's spelt. It's escaping me now, but anyway.
Okay, so back to the podcast, I guess, for editing purposes.
Part 4.
We've lost count. So another personal question. So we also noticed that you write and perform poetry. And we're curious, like, what drew you to that particular, like, art form as, like, a creative outlet?
Yeah, I guess I feel so funny, like, being a self-proclaimed... I don't really call myself a poet, but I think spoken word artist is something I resonate with more. I'm just going to turn this light on. So, pending the answer to that question while I turn this light on.
Sure.
Oh, that's nice. Warm light. There we go. Got the books in the background. Oh my gosh, I should have started here.
All you need is a cup of tea.
Yeah. I thought about that. We went with the wine instead. But yeah, so spoken word, I guess, so I'm a very and my family can probably speak to this. I'm a very emotional person. So I'm in the best field for it. But I think there are just some things that, you know, I think there was like something about rhythm and just writing that can just sort of emulate emotion and experience in a way that, like, you know, kind of like music, or I think very similar, like rap. Like there's just like there's like something behind it that just gives it a power. And I think that's what I was drawn to. Like there's like this kind of, anytime I see like spoken word artists, I'm always the in the audience. I've probably done it a few times when someone says something like really profound. I'm like, like I'm that person.
Did we say anything profound in this interview?
Don't ask questions you don't want the answer to, Kaitlynn.
Pretty sure there was some happening, but yeah. So I think I haven't written in a while, and I think that's also why I've been a little bit either gearing my social media towards more of my business, and taking some time to just, as Jess says, incubate. But yeah, I've been, yeah, just, I find that I write, or I'm driven to write my spoken word when I'm in pain. And it's been a huge part of my healing. When George Floyd was murdered, I wrote a whole piece. There was a time where I was like homeless. I was going through a really difficult, painful situation. My grandmother had passed, and I was just completely lost. And so I wrote another piece. And so it's brought me clarity. It's been an outlet, but I feel like I want to be able to write more of my joy. And that's something that I've been kind of trying to advocate more for in my life, is protecting my joy. And yeah. So I guess that's also why my tone on social media maybe hasn't been so much about the trials and tribulations, but, you know, more of my my peace and my joy. And not that I haven't been through difficulties, I still have, and have actually kind of just come through one in the past 4 months. I've been like dealing I don't know if it was my adrenals, like I had an insane top of the year with filming and working at the same time, and like my other job and stuff. And so yeah, so I think that's, but I do miss it. I do want to write more. I've been wanting to do a documentary, and yeah, I've been wanting to do my family history. I don't know anything about writing a documentary. And sorry, I'm frozen. I'm just gonna fix this. I don't know anything, and I've had, I don't know if you know, might not, Jules Kostashian. I'm actually starring in her film coming up pretty soon. So it's called Broken Angel, and it's her first feature. And she's an up and coming, well, not even up and coming. She is like an established Indigenous filmmaker. But yeah, so she was like, just get a camera, write a grant. I was like, I don't know any of this. And she's like, just go home, interview your parents, and that's a documentary. Because she's also from
basically
territory near me. Yeah.
Well,
So
Kaitlynn,
yeah, and I
Kaitlynn
want
will
to. Me and my
impart her
sister Maria are.
wisdom.
Oh, that's an awesome
Yeah,
project to
absolutely.
work on it with your sister. That's so wonderful.
Yeah, she's
Love it.
she's a lawyer, so, and she doesn't like, she actually just landed a lawyer position working
Congrats to
with
her.
Indigenous
Well, congrats to
law.
her, yeah.
So it's huge,
Wow.
huge. Yeah, I'm
That's
so
so
proud
cool.
of her. It was like we both, like, ever since we were little, she was the lawyer, I was the actor, and so like this has been, we
Aw.
both kind of reached like this interesting point in our careers together. So yeah, I'm really excited for her. But yeah, we would love to do it together. It's huge. It'd be huge and a lot of money, and
Yeah.
I know nothing. And
I mean,
I say that,
it doesn't
but
have to be a
I probably
lot
know
of
more than I
money.
think. Yeah, I guess so. There's a lot of intellectual property as well. So I don't know if you don't have to keep this.
Yeah.
You don't have to keep this in the thing, but there's a lot of stuff. Even though it's my history, it's also my parents' history. It's also my siblings' history,
Yeah.
and coming back to that, like protecting my family. And everyone's at their different point on their journey, and I could do it in a way where it doesn't have to go there. It can definitely be, whatever I want it to say. But there's a lot of wounds, and so it's like I have to be mindful of that, because I can't go and open up wounds and I don't know how to heal. It's not fair. So so it's just stuff like that. And I've been marinating on it. So again, sorry, this is like a very long-winded answer to your question.
No.
But yeah, that's the type of direction I want to go in. It was the spoken word. This is what happens when you interview Olivia Lucas.
This is what happens.
No, this is also what happens when you talk to us.
I don't know. I actually didn't go back and watch your guys' interviews. I was just kind of like, yeah, sure, I'll join in.
I don't blame you.
We don't expect anybody to.
No, we really don't. Like, you should have seen Taylor. I think Theora was going to kill me because Taylor and I went off on like a 20-minute rant about Walmart.
Okay, great. I don't know. I have no context. I've never been interviewed. I've been interviewed, but not like this. This is cool.
Wait, you can be a part of the Walmart video too. I'm trying to
recruit people.
I'm getting everybody. We're gonna have the entire Vancouver team. Either we go there or they're all coming to Arkansas. But I'm trying to get, so far, all the Hicksons and Keenan to spend 24 hours in the bougie Walmart with us.
There's a bougie Walmart?
This is where the tangent happened.
Listen.
Yes. This is how it started.
Okay.
Go ahead, Bree.
I'm going to keep it real short this time.
Okay.
Real short.
Timing you.
I live where Walmart came from. There's even a Walmart museum here. The Waltons are some of the richest people in the world, and they own everything here, obviously. And so our Walmarts are like the most bougie-ass Walmarts. They're ginormous. They have, like, hair salons.
Oh my gosh.
They have they have a vet's office. They have medical, they have like a walk-in clinic. They have restaurants. We have like a Woodstone pizza restaurant in the Walmart down the road.
Okay, wait, stop. Don't
They're
tell me anymore.
insane.
Because it has to be a surprise. Like, that is an experience. That's a whole segment. That's a whole.
Everyone wants to come. So
that's a whole
at
series.
this point, we'll have to bring Jess as well. We could get Michelle to come down. I guess I don't know if you got to work with Michelle.
You would get all the authentic, genuine reactions to all of this crazy stuff.
It's bananas. Even when I walk in the one, there's one that's like about 30 minutes away from my house, because this whole area is one big metropolitan type of area, and you walk into this Walmart and you're like, what the hell is this? Is this a mall?
Wow.
Like, there's
you guys have
an experience.
You guys are on a whole other level over there, right?
Yeah, but then also you get robocalls from the I don't know if you know who the Duggars are.
No. Oh, really?
Probably not. Okay, it's best you don't. No, she said no. And
no, I meant you
I'm a
do.
farm girl.
We'll talk about it later.
Huh?
It's okay.
It's okay. We'll talk about it later.
Moving on.
All right. Back to podcast part 5.
I'm just going to say this real quick before I forget, because I forget a lot of things. Don't let me forget to take a photo after. My phone's in the other room, but I want to get a picture after.
Okay. All right. I write down notes because I forget everything. Photo.
Thank you.
Part 5. Okay. So something I have always found exciting and fun in the entertainment industry is fighting and stunts. You got to do a little bit of this in Motherland and previously participated in the Indigenous Action Artist Mentorship Program. Could you tell us a little bit about this experience and what it was like participating in this program?
Oh my God, you guys, you did your research. Like, holy. Yeah. So I didn't do too many stunts on Motherland. I just did really the one like intense one where I was blown by air cannons and landed on a mat and barely landed on the mat because I slid. But anyway, it was so much fun. I loved it. I wish I could have kept going. But the Indigenous Action Artist Program, mentorship program, was created by Laurel Chartrand and Bruce Crawford. And I'm frozen again. Yeah, and they kind of initiated a lot of that. Bruce works. Well, I can't remember his wife's name, but he's married to his wife's Musqueam, and they live on Musqueam Reserve in Vancouver. And they both are stunt coordinators and performers in the industry, and they saw a need, like an incessant need for Indigenous stunt performers, because we get well, I mean, we're lucky if we get someone who's even the same skin tone as someone doubling a Indigenous performer. But it's different. It's still different. So I think, both Bruce and Laurel saw a need for this and just were like, hey, let's just create a weekend workshop thing. And they didn't know how well it was going to do, and I was part of the first one, and it was introduced to me by my mentor and friend Crystal Dahlman, who is also a stunt coordinator in Vancouver. And it's a very small community, the stunt community in Vancouver, so, and very incredible. They're like a family. Yeah, so I was like, yes, 100%. I've always wanted to be more hands-on. I always wanted to add more tools to my toolbox. I don't really have an active, this is the first time in my life that I've had definition the way that I do. I grew up on a farm, so that I had that kinesthetic experience growing up, but I didn't have dance. I didn't do sports. I didn't have any of that kind of stuff. So I was just happy to go and learn what I could learn. And basically they would have a review sort of thing to see who was industry ready or set ready, as they said. and would basically pair them with one of the instructors, and that would be their mentor. And they would work with, you as the trainee need to put in the work. Like whatever you put in is what you're going to get out of it. So what questions you're asking, who are you networking with, who are you talking to, what gyms are you going to? Because if you train at gyms where stunt performers train, that's how you network. And so little things like that. So there's a lot of business involved in this kind of stuff that you only know if you're in it. And when you already face the adversities that you face as an Indigenous person, it's so hard. It's already hard that we are, like, you've seen this, right? Where the privilege, right? And when you even just knowing someone in the industry itself is already a leg up. And so we, it's, I think we've had 2 more since then. I just did the first one, and I kind of helped. I don't like to say that I, like, honestly, I literally just got everyone's Facebooks and created a Facebook group and was like, okay, like, I just didn't want it to die out. I didn't want us, I remember feeling that weekend after the first day, and like, I don't want us to not, stop knowing each other, stop communicating. This is a community that we can build. And so now I'm really, really close with my good friend Amanda Torres. She was also in that workshop, and we became really, really close friends. And she actually got to stunt on Motherland. She got a stunt gig. You can see her face in there. She's the one that, like, kind of falls asleep and does the fall. But I mentioned her to Reese, our coordinator, because Reese and I got chatting, and he has a background in Capoeira, and I was like, oh, my friend Amanda. And so she sent him an email once she knew that I mentioned her, and he got back to her and was like, hey, we have this opportunity, are you interested? Like, that's how it works. And so it's really about, it's about networking. It's about, being a person of your word, keeping your word, and showing up, and doing the work, and being available, and being prepared. But all these things you don't know. But the reason I didn't really go hardcore into the stunts was because, and I probably still, there could be opportunities, but I had my hands full with acting personally, and was like, and stunts is another thing. And but yeah, it was interesting. It was a great experience, and it was a lot of fun. We were all exhausted by the end of it. My neck hurt so bad, and the toll it takes on your body is a lot too. But it introduced me to a lot of amazing people, and got me really excited about where we're going in the community. And wow, I love how Theora's the only person not frozen. Have you been frozen?
Wait a minute.
I beat you guys.
That's a first. Theora not being frozen.
Know, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't.
So
we made it to our last section.
Finally, right?
It's part
last
6.
section.
Thank you so much for being here with us this long.
Yeah, exactly.
I have nothing. I'm on kind of vacation right now anyway, so it's okay.
Ooh,
yeah, but you have definitely more relaxing to do than talking.
Exactly.
This is nice. I hope I'm not taking too long. I always worry that I'm
no.
As Kaitlynn said, she and I would talk to you forever. Theora, on the other hand,
has a life
and dogs and a wife.
Oh, okay,
so.
okay.
Us, on the other hand, we're just like, our brains will keep just jumping.
Yeah, we're like the people that want to know everything.
Well, I'll try to keep my answers more condensed.
Well, these are more fun. This is more of a fun.
You've heard these questions before.
You've heard these questions before the other night, but we want your answers instead of the fans' answers.
Okay. I can remember some of them.
Right.
Okay.
So we picked out a few. Would you rather have dinner with Thelma or Louise? Louise being Nicta, because
that's tough. I'm like, I have dinner with myself.
I know.
We set you up. That's what we
Both-
did.
I feel like both of their companies might not really be the most like. I don't know. Nikda did say she's a pretty fun person, so
She is.
maybe Nikda.
All right, you want to get to know Nikda a little more. Maybe we ship that. Who knows?
Yeah. Could be fun.
That'd be
fun. She just needs
interesting.
someone to listen to her. She needs some love.
She does.
Yeah.
She needs a hug.
She got mom issues.
She needs a hug.
She does.
I give great hugs. Ask Jess. And massages too.
Hey, well, we know who to come to.
At Walmart, we'll test out the hug.
There you go.
Just realized
I love that you make it sound like she could fail.
I know.
I mean, no,
We will
you can't
test
fail.
it. Out of 10.
It's for science.
It is. Kaitlynn science.
Doing an experiment.
All right, Isadora.
This question is my favorite, and I would love to know your thoughts on how would you kill Hearst?
Ooh. How would I kill Hearst? I feel like because Hearst is such a like sociopath,
Yes.
I would want to do it psychologically first. I think I'd want to like try to find where his humanity may be, if there is any, and hurt him on the inside. If I don't even know if that's even possible because he's so black, but you know, there is like Blackheart.
There is that the family
his childhood
thing. Like there's some issues there.
There's
Childhood trauma
there.
probably.
Yeah, so something like maybe I create a drug and then I put him in a room, tie him up, and drug him in a way where he's reliving his childhood trauma.
Wait, no,
Is
that's
that
just
dark?
Nikda's thing.
Yeah.
Nikda's bad.
Oh,
So when you have dinner with Nikda, just ask her how to do that and then go kill Hearst with it. Perfect, we solved it.
I
magic,
would want to
anything's
like
possible.
psychologically torture him first. But anyway, no, I don't know. How would I kill Hearst? Maybe drowning.
You're like
Waterboarding.
At least she didn't say. Wow. At least she didn't say slit his throat. Like
That's too easy.
Two answers we got the most were Scylla and slit his throat.
Oh,
My favorite was
yeah.
the Matilda style. Make him eat chocolate cake until he croaks.
I was like,
sorry, that's so good.
cake. I remember when that was.
Oh yeah,
but I
he
forgot.
didn't get to hear any of it.
Yeah,
That's a good one.
Yeah, no, that's a good one. Yeah, no, I guess waterboarding because drowning is really terrifying.
Yeah.
It really is. I almost drowned when I was 6. I was like so close to dying, and
Yeah,
it is such a terrifying experience.
yeah. Same. I also, my mother pulled me out.
My dad pulled me out.
Oh, no, I can't get into it now. We're gonna
The
get into
stories
the segue,
we
and
tell.
I can't.
No, I want to know though.
Feel free. I mean,
It's okay. Just
if
segue.
you want to
Just
go
segue.
get dinosaur chicken.
Okay, really briefly. So my older sister Maria, I don't know why, but I could always do things before her. She's very like intellectually, like she's an academic, right? So she's a lawyer, scholarly, all that stuff. Whereas more of like the physical kind of girl is like the more tomboyish one. And so I could swim before her, I could ride my bike before her, I could, I taught her how to do all these things. And so I was like swimming in the pool one day, our neighbor's pool, and she wanted to try and like go without a life jacket, and she was drowning me. She was panicking and pulling me down, and I'm like swallowing water, and I'm like, I can't, like, and I just see my dad sitting there doing nothing. Just sitting there. And I'm looking, I'm like, how? I'm trying, and I think he purposely, like, and this is his thing, like, he wants us to figure out things on our own, and then he'll step in if he sees that there's actual danger. But that's the kind of father I have. Like, he'll literally, like, I want you to struggle so that you know how to survive and know how to do life and how to persevere. That's just his parenting tactics. But literally, I'm like, I have this image burned in my mind of him just lounging like this on his chair, and then he like went and like ripped off his glasses and jumped into the water. And I was like, okay,
just love me.
Your story is more interesting than mine.
That's not even the story where I almost drowned. That was a different one. Just because when you mentioned your dad, yeah, different one. That's not even the worst one. That was a very minor.
How
one.
did you okay?
You want to know how I did almost drown? It was
yes.
It was a river, in this little village called Dunedin down the road from our like hamlet, which was basically an intersection of 4 houses. There's a river and there was this like deep pocket, and this was before I knew how to swim, and so I was just doing like this weird backstroke thing, and I didn't see that I had gone into that area, and all of a sudden I was just under. And I remember like, trying to scream help underwater, so you're just taking in all this water and inhaling it. And I just remember seeing the tree, and like that's burned in my memory, like the tree through the water. I don't remember being pulled out, but I remember kind of being like lugged over my mom's shoulder, I think. And something happened where I guess I came to, and she like put me down to like just set me down on the ground, and I'm like just can barely walk, and she's like, don't get up, and she's just freaking out, like she's so mad. Here I am like having a near-death experience, like trying to like process everything and walk at the same time. Oh man.
Hello, trauma. My name is Olivia.
Exactly. Oh yeah.
So a lot to talk about in therapy.
Yeah, oh yeah. Definitely. I think I have that on Saturday. Yeah, I do actually. Highly recommend. Everyone should go to therapy if you have parents, or if you don't have parents. Everyone should just go.
If you have parents, if you don't have
No, that's your tagline.
Yeah.
I love you.
I jumped into a lock and dam.
Oh gosh, darn it!
I don't know if you know what that is.
Oh, what? You walked it?
I jumped into a lock and dam, which is like,
I know what
it was a dam. Basically, it's a dam where they release.
Like
so it was a river, and then there's the part where they have the dam, and then they release the water every once in a while. And anyway, don't. It's
How
just
big
a thing,
is it?
okay?
Yeah.
It's pretty big.
Is it a big one?
My
or like
dad.
Oh my god.
My dad and so it was me and my best friend. My dad was friends with her dad. They were fishing. There's this one part where it's kind of like a pool, but still part of like where the rushing water is. So I, being the idiot that I am, thought, hey, let me jump in because I'm cool like that. Jumped in. Like you said, I remember just at one point just like letting go and letting my body float, because I was like, all right, it's over. And all I could see was like the water and the image of the sky through the water.
Wow,
and that's like what I remember the most. And then my dad jumped in and got me. And many years later, I mentioned it to my mom, and she was like, excuse me? He never told me that.
Yeah.
I had to rat him out, Bree.
And so there's a whole new reason for her to be mad at him after he died. Fun time.
Oh man. Well, he pulled
Fun
you
times
out,
and drowning.
and now you're here. So.
Yep, and now we're bonding over drowning.
It's not a good time.
We're not typical interviewers.
We are not the standard for how interviews go.
I'm so glad you've taken my interview virginity. So.
Whoa! We made you shiny. You've been spending too much time with Jess.
You've named me shiny? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Is it because
in the show, the thing is that everyone has a witch mark. No, like everyone has a witch mark, and once you have sex for the first time, it becomes shiny.
Right.
And
yeah.
one of Jess's iconic lines was asking Rael, "Is it shiny?"
I remember that line. I remember when I first did the show, and I was like, "Who the fuck is this?" Now we're like best friends.
There you go.
Right. Full circle.
Okay, so speaking of sex.
Yeah, great segue.
Again, you're killing this.
Would you rather get the sex talk? Would you rather get the sex talk from Anacostia or Alder?
Oh yeah.
We asked Taylor this first, and so it's become like our question to ask.
Oh gosh. I feel like Anacostia would probably make it more fun. But what version of Alder? What version of her? Because she changes very much in season 3. Because I could definitely take it. I could take it from. Oh my gosh, that.
I know.
Yeah, my head was there too.
My brain went there.
I could take it from Alder. It's
No! Yeah, I think I could. That version of her definitely would, I think, make it...
I mean, we love a MILF.
But also, like, I feel like she would make it so, like, profound and, like, really understand the substance of it and the beauty of it and, like, and now because she's in a new form and understands, like, life and death on a whole other level and, like, so yeah, I could take it from, like, a season 3 Alder, I think.
Good answer.
Yeah, Nachos Alder, that's what I call her.
Nachos Alder.
Because of that scene where she eats the nachos and you're like, she's really enjoying them for the first time.
Yeah. Yeah, because she can actually experience pleasure.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
enjoy those. I wonder...
Yeah, no, we've discussed it. Don't worry, we know where you're going.
I wonder.
We know
I
exactly
never thought
where you're
about
going.
it before. Okay. That wasn't my character development.
But
so
I will
never
say
went
this:
there.
so at the con when we were doing the panel, so we did a panel with the full cast, and I think I asked a question about Alder's. I don't remember what the question was, but Lynn talked about how Alder had many partners. So
Okay, so it's all good then. They all work.
yeah,
Got it. Parks work just fine. Oh, okay, cool.
If Witchfather has anything to say about it.
I mean, if I was older, I probably would too. Many lifetimes.
Yeah, I mean, right? Lived. Well, Nicta and Alder were supposed to have actually had a romance. So, but it wasn't it wasn't in the show, but it was supposed to be.
I see.
I love that we tell people who are on the show what the show was supposed to be.
Well, it's because we talked to Arlen.
No, I know, but like, I just love how we know so much that we're able to tell the people who are on the show things.
Well, I also came in season 3, so like I could not.
Yeah, like she didn't have the.
Yeah. Olivia missed the whole romance that never was. It's okay.
Yeah, we have a lot of. We talk about it on the pod. Good Lord, I feel sorry for anybody who listens to our 4-hour-long discussions about.
Feel sorry for me.
I know, because you have to edit them.
So do I.
Yeah. It's really me that gets off easy in this equation.
My head just went somewhere else.
Oh my God! Stop!
I'm sorry. Our conversation was just there.
Why is my brain not in the gutter and yours is right now?
Oh, Kaitlynn, you're frozen. I want to enjoy your face. Can you unfreeze it? Thank you.
Hi.
I'll do mine again. Hi.
Oh my God.
Okay.
As I like to say.
We've gone so far. I thought this was
Well,
gonna
we
be
only
such a
have
short-
one question left.
One question.
so-
We can do this.
Okay, last question.
Part 6.
I don't even know.
Seven.
Part 6. Back to
I
the
think it might
interview
be
part
7.
infinity.
I don't know.
We're just using infinity.
Go, Bree.
All right. Which specialty would you be?
Oh, right. So there's okay. I have to brush up on everything. So there's
there's Fixer,
the Fixer, the
there's
Necro,
Braille. Yep.
and
See if you can figure it out.
Yeah, we'll let you try to figure it out.
But the weather, like Abigail's weather, someone needs to still explain to me the Earth and sky thing because I'm like still confused.
I'm still working on that one.
I don't understand the finale at all.
No, I feel like it was
Okay.
supposed to be something else, and they're like, we don't have time. Just, it's this. And you're like, okay, what? I don't get it.
Okay.
We're going to analyze it tomorrow night.
Yeah.
We'll
Okay,
probably
okay.
be here for
We'll
like
let you know.
9 years.
Sorry,
I
sorry.
don't-
We'll
I
let
don't-
you know what we come up with.
I've watched the last episode twice, and I still have no idea what happened.
Yeah,
It was a lot.
It was a lot.
I'll tell
And we
you what
watched it-
happened.
Okay, because I need
No,
that.
go ahead.
I'll need that.
She's telling me that she's going to tell me what happened. But do you want to know what happened? Oh, do you want to just do our podcast with us tomorrow night?
Say no.
Yeah, just
Say no.
come
You
on
are
the
on
podcast
vacation.
and we'll talk about it.
Oh,
Good lord.
You're on vacation.
yeah, I gotta do an audition. But okay, so wait, so remind me again of the different
That's not vacation.
sections.
Blaster. So Fixer, Necro, Blaster, and Knower,
What's a blaster?
which is Tally.
That's
Blaster
the
is
weather.
weather
Oh.
work.
Oh, and then the knower is the seeing thing.
The seeing thing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
feel like
the
I
seeing
already am a seer, so maybe that one. No,
Oh,
legit. Yeah, very
Tally.
intuitive.
Now, the other part of the question is which one do you think Thelma is or would be?
Oh. I wish they had something for fire.
Right?
Well,
Oh.
hey, here's the thing. They could, because we don't know. Those are just the army designations. So you've got
But
Adil,
even
who
Adil
is
is an Earth.
And
Yeah.
yeah, so Adil is Earth, and that's separate from everything else. So I feel like the
We have
indigenous
Earth, Wind.
Yeah.
I feel like the
Fire.
indigenous session witches could absolutely have their own like elemental
Yeah. Totally.
aspect to their work. So
Yeah.
Thelma could be fire.
You just want to burn the shit down.
Just burn
Burn
it
it
down and
down.
walk
She has
away.
that. She has that kind of essence about her.
Mm-hmm.
Just
Yeah,
slow motion walking out of the flames.
Maybe the. Oh, which one is Thelma? I was gonna say maybe whatever Adil is. I don't know if they have a name for that, but I don't know if they can.
They
If that's
just
his
Call it
tribe.
earthwork.
Okay, and then
Mhm.
the Necro one.
Mm.
That was the other 50.
I
But
can see that
I don't
too.
know. I
See,
feel like
there's another, like, she and Scylla could talk about necromagic.
yeah. I don't know. I
Teach
feel
her
like
the death cap.
I don't know. She probably has her own, but I would have to like marinate on it. Like think of something very unique.
You
to
get
her.
back to us.
No,
Yeah.
she's off canon. That's
What's
her
off?
territory. Just off
It's
canon.
I'm
non
convinced that she's
army magic, basically.
Like,
Yeah.
stuff that they're not allowed to do.
Yeah.
Basically,
The
spring.
ancient stuff.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like they're like the Tarim have their ancient, like theirs is from a like not cultivated by the
Yeah.
armies or anything of that nature, and I feel like it would be more related.
I
to
feel like
the
it'd be
earth
more
and the
land.
elements.
Yeah, it'd be more land based. Like I could see them maybe having some kind of like relationship with like the animals and like working in tandem
Oh, I
with
love that.
like the creatures and like Avatar or some shit. I don't know.
You can talk
Oh,
to
that'd be fun.
animals.
Yeah.
I just made a whole thing in my head, and it's hilarious. And I think that just means I have to go to sleep.
Thelma having a conversation with a squirrel? Yeah, sure. That's in my head now.
No,
that was me this
butts.
morning. So
there you go.
Flag butts. Here we go again.
Oh.
Oh no. Don't die,
There she
Kaitlynn.
goes.
All right. Now that we've all made it and we're still alive.
you're allowed to be tired. It's okay. Yeah.
All right.
I tell her that all the time.
Yeah, my jaw hurts from laughing.
Oh, good.
Never mind.
Right.
We caused you pain. Oh, good.
My camera's gonna die. Let's sign off.
All right. So before we officially wrap things up, we just wanted to see if you had any final words for our listeners at home that made it this far into the podcast.
Well, okay, I'm wondering if I say something, are you able to cut it and put it with something I said earlier, or is that too much work?
No, I could. And if it's completely different setting, we'll deal with it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's
We'll
true.
make it work.
Different light. Because
we'll make it work.
I was thinking in the bathroom, was like, oh, I didn't really finish that thought earlier when you were asking me about my parents and my dad specifically, because I was going into it and then I think I got distracted. Just about like the identity thing and like how he was a big part of like bringing me back into my identity because we share that, whereas I don't really have that as much with my mom. And so because your question was specifically like how do they ground you again, or how do they bring you back to, you know, your I think my AirPods are dying. But yeah, so I just wanted to say that about my dad and that in that relationship, and that was a huge kind of like, what's the word? Kind of like I wanted to say lighthouse all of a sudden, like beacon, in how to come home again, because he would share about his own experiences growing up. We had that in common. Him a lot worse than what I went through. So yeah, I was thinking about that earlier, and I just wanted to add that to kind of commemorate, you know, the question and what he added into my life. But yeah, otherwise, oh geez, no, just thank you for having me. Wait, out of the three of you are frozen. I think Bree's the only one not frozen.
No.
Just for now, just while I'm saying goodbye.
Okay, awesome.
But no, thank you for having me. This was an amazing chat. Love the organicness and the realness, and it's the only way I roll. And yeah, thank you for being so accommodating to all my stuff. Just all of it.
Well, thank you for inviting us into your Airbnb and showing us around. We also appreciate that. The tour we got. But seriously, like, thank you for chatting with us for so long. Like, our listeners will definitely appreciate it. And we got to know you better. We really appreciate that, and hope, you know, we'll get to talk to you again in the future. This was really fun.
God, we're Theora, just say bye so I can stop recording. So we don't
listening at home and tuning in. Thank you. We'll see you next time. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
And with that, we've been Big Gay Energy. If you like this episode, check out all of our other episodes right here on YouTube. Please like, leave a comment below, and subscribe for more amazing and super gay content.
Until next time, stay safe and hydrate for lesbian Jesus.